Fourscore and 7 years ago.
Fourscore and 7 years ago. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Chat Podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. Alright guys, you're going to read the title of it so you know what's up. We're going to be reviewing Thor Ragnarok, spoilers ahead. Joining me, first timer to the podcast, say hi everybody to actor and short filmmaker Hayden Livesay.
How's it going, Kyle?
Hey, thanks for being here, Hayden. And joining me as always whenever we do these things, it's Dan Tundis. Dan?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Alright, there we go, guys. Alright, so we're going to dive right into this one. Once again, spoilers ahead. Guys, Thor Ragnarok, what'd you guys think?
I loved it.
I
was a big fan.
I enjoyed it. Hayden?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It to me wasn't as good as some of the past ones I've seen, but it was definitely a lot better than some of the other ones, I guess.
I definitely think I liked it better than the second Thor movie. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
I will go that far.
Yeah, I mean, I love the second one. I have, my own personal reasons for loving the second Thor movie, which is probably the most unpopular of all of the Marvel movies.
It's kind of at the bottom.
I'm pretty sure it's always been, the black sheep, where I think that one's, the lowest rated. But this one, I mean, by and far, was way better than the second, way better than the first. I want to say it was probably my favorite Marvel movie since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, just in, how fresh it felt.
I mean, it felt very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole, because, we were talking about this in the movie theater, actually. When I think of Thor, I kind of expect just a little bit more Norse mythology, little less Flash Gordon in my shit, you know what I mean? But other than that, I definitely enjoyed it, though. The visuals were astounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This went on all curbified.
All curbified.
It was all curbified.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the small issues I had with it, though, is her army. They looked like an army out of one of the Mortal Kombat movies.
Hella.
Kind of.
Yeah, I liked her, but her army, the skull face and stuff, I don't know. It was a little on the
generic side of foot soldiers.
Like the putties from Power Rangers.
The Stormtroopers.
The Chitauri, the Stormtroopers. They're all kind of the same, faceless, nameless. Yeah. She didn't have a good number two, what's his name as Keith Urban as the Executioner.
Oh yeah.
Just wasn't he wasn't a really strong number two. You always expect the villain to have the second in command. You're that dude seems like a badass. Keith Urban the whole time, you were you can kind of smack that guy.
Yeah,
I just want people to respect me.
I felt like I could have taken him.
The cast around her was really weak, but she was so overpowered. She needed to be buffed.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I just enjoy my favorite kind of villains are always the hammiest ones, and in the best ways possible, Cate Blanchett hammed the fuck out of that role.
She did.
Yeah,
she's scary. And still,
she was.
And still really hot. And
so hot.
I'm scared and attracted, and I'm I don't know how to feel.
This is high school all over again.
Intimidated by strong women, as is every day.
Yeah. The life that I live is sad. Oh man. Definitely kind of. This definitely felt like a crowded cast, though. Even when you compare it to Civil War, though, in some ways, that whole thing with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I feel it got spaced out, though. I mean, when you think about Civil War, when we had all 14 of the Marvel heroes on screen at one time, and you just didn't know which way to look. You got War Machine fighting Spider-Man over there, and Captain America hitting the Vision, and then Black Widow's messing with. And there's just a whole bunch going on. This, it felt pretty sectioned at times.
True, it did.
I like Bendy Straw Cumberbatch. Just coming in and making a quick cameo, and kind of pointless.
Kind of pointless.
It was just kind of a continued cameo from. Yeah. It just felt more it was literally just this is the things you didn't get to see with Thor's little cameo at the end of Doctor Strange. That's really all it was.
Right. Yeah. Which was weird that they had to redo that scene for this movie. It was the only time. It wasn't even a continuation of it. It was, and he's "What? Who are you?" And
it did feel a little different. It did feel like it was an entirely different scene altogether.
Yeah, it feels at the end of Doctor Strange they didn't have a good post-scene credit worked out, and they're while they were shooting Thor, they were "Hey, we got this scene cut. You want to use this?" And they were "Sure, fuck it, throw it in."
Yeah, they did the same thing too with at the end of the second Avengers movie when they showed that one clip of Avengers, Ant-Man, where they showed that one scene where they got Bucky with his arms strapped in the vice and everything like that. So I kind of don't like it when they do that. I'd rather you just do either tease me the next movie or just do something completely and utterly out of left field entirely. Like, don't show me like a small scene from the next movie, but whatever. Like,
we're spoiled.
We're spoiled, exactly.
Is that we expect everything like new and fresh like all the time.
Right.
You know, I was expecting. Are we talking post-scene credits yet, or do we have to go? Should we go more through like the plot first?
We should probably dive through the plot first. So, basic concept of the plot, guys, is what would you sum it up as, Dan? Like, just Thor.
Watch the trailer.
Everything you need to know. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that is kind of sort of it. Yeah. I mean, basically, Thor, end of the days are coming. Woo! Thor's going to try and stop his evil sister, Hela. And he gets trapped on a planet that the Hulk is somehow, like, the grand champion of all gladiators. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer and read Planet Hulk, that's pretty much it. It was pretty much those two ideas just kind of fused together. Pretty much. It's the end of Asgard, and Hulk beats up nameless goons on a different planet where Jeff Goldblum is amazing.
And that was the best. I was just waiting for him to just be like, all right, we're gonna put the Hulk on lunchboxes and we're gonna sell it.
I'm feeling alarmed here. I'm feeling very alarmed.
All right, and so this was a great revolt. I'm proud of you all.
His hemming and hawing.
It's so great.
That's a national treasure.
That man is a national treasure. Who was the actress that played Valkyrie? Because she was pretty good in it too. Dan, you got your smartphone out.
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, she was good. I liked her role. Kind of really feeling a little like, I don't know what to really say beyond, like, other than it was very heavy on the humor in this one, more so than just about any other Marvel movie, almost any other Marvel movie. You know?
Yeah, I thought it had, everything from the tone, the colors that they use, it was so much more brighter colors than even past Marvel movies. It was, felt very much like a buddy cop relationship.
Yeah, it did feel like a buddy cop between the Hulk and, they even made the fire and ice joke reference. Yeah. I mean, I was saying this to Kyle coming back on the way, and I feel like it's almost not fair anymore to like compare Marvel movies to past Marvel movies because the spectrum has just become so wide. Like we talked about this a little bit earlier. You have the spy thrillers like Captain America, Winter Soldier, right? That's like no way comparable to Guardians of the Galaxy, which is like sci-fi adventure, and then you have like Doctor Strange, which is like mystical, magical, like this whole like Inception kind of a like look and
meets Harry Potter kind of thing.
Meets Harry Potter kind of a thing. So it's like now this like genre, and even like New Mutants that's coming out looks to be like the first like horror.
Yeah,
and I'm excited for that because horror Marvel comics are my favorite Marvel comics. It's got like this whole like wide range now where it's like hard to be like, well, I like this one better than that one. It's like, well, okay, but how do you compare like Ant-Man to Black Panther?
Right.
How are they even in the same world? You know what I mean? So it's like hard to compare and contrast, I feel.
You bring up Ant-Man, that reminded me. You know what? Thinking of like comedic Marvel movies, I think Ant-Man was still funnier than this one.
I can see that.
I
can totally agree with that.
I think that's the funniest. I know we're saying not comparing the Marvel movies, but if you're gonna go the ones that have more comedy, that one to me, I think still. I was super impressed when I saw that one.
Well, they went with the Scott Lang Ant-Man, and he's usually the funnier out of all of the Ant-Man.
And they went with the Paul Rudd Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's just, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd's playing Scott Lang.
Yeah.
It was, what was his, I forget that I'm blanking on the actor's name. He's hysterical. I think he makes the movie, too. And he's the one, he's always telling the story.
Yeah, his not sidekick, but I know you're talking about.
Carlos Pena, is that his name?
Yeah, Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, there we go, yeah.
He's a riot, man. Oh, man.
Isn't Carlos Pena the guy from Cartels?
He's
Agent Pena. I don't remember his first name. Javier Pena was the DEA agent from Cartels, which there's a little plug from Netflix. It's a great show.
I never saw Cartels.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I know of Narcos, but
that's what I meant. Narcos.
Oh, okay, there we go. So what would you say were some of the biggest themes of this movie?
Planet Hulk. Just as far as like comic book adaptations, it was. Sakaar was the planet that Hulk went to on Planet Hulk. They had Meek, they had Krog, the Krogman, terrible names. There was a few other like light references to that, like the whole gladiatorial fight, and like that and Conquest of Champions with the whole Grandmaster thing, which is actually he's brother to
the Collector.
The Collector.
Yeah,
like,
was it the Collector, the Beyonder?
No, the Beyonder's not part of it. I don't think, but I know that the Collector and the Grandmaster.
He's part of something. What is it though? What was the first major Marvel crossover that he was a part of?
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
That was the Beyonder with Secret Wars. He was like the dude with the Jerry curl.
Yeah.
He was the white dude with the terrible Jerry curl.
So 80s.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. It was so bad. Yeah. It was so gross. But that was definitely like a huge inspiration, and a lot of like the classic Kirby comics, like where they had like his whole like galaxy kind of glyph thing in the background going on for like it was in all the title work and all of like the background decorations and stuff, which was really cool like visually to see. It's nice to see like them pay a little bit more homage to it, and it works for like this galaxy setting of a movie. Like it doesn't work for like Civil War. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. I did appreciate the whole Hulk versus Thor thing because it was pretty much the creators going, this is the scene you didn't get in Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
That's what we all wanted to see. I mean, that's why we all went, pretty much, was just to see Hulk versus Thor, and he totally got robbed in that fight.
He totally did get robbed in that fight.
Yeah.
The whole time, though, it was just like, I think I turned to Hayden at one point, I was just expecting him to look to the crowd and just go, are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
He fights a tiger. I mean, we pretty much had a scene where the Hulk fought a giant wolf, which I wish we saw more of.
I totally agree with you. I thought we were going to get more of that fight.
But like that, you could just tell, like, just watching that. I remember, like, my first thought was like, oh, this is cool. My second thought was like, wow, this has got to be so expensive.
My thing is like, okay, you saw it in the trailer, like, oh, this is going to be dope, like a big-ass wolf fighting Hulk, and then the wolf just goes off the waterfall.
Right.
Like, what?
I would have appreciated maybe a huge cracking of the jaw type of thing, or just hitting it so hard that it just doesn't get back up again. But no, just kind of like doggy can't swim.
So I question you because I'm not as familiar with the Thor comics.
Sure.
Does he lose his hammer like that?
He's lost his hammer quite a bit actually.
He most recently he no longer has his hammer, and Thor, the mantle of Thor, was passed on to
Jane Foster,
which is the girl that we don't get to see anymore. So she's the new Thor, and now he's Thor the Unworthy, and just Odin's son, just goes by Odin's son. But I remember in Thor Ragnarok, there's not a lot of Marvel comics that directly reference this film. This was kind of a combination of a Hulk comic and a Thor comic and just some other Galaxy comics that they just threw in for good measure. I know in Thor Ragnarok, he pretty much lost his powers and went back to Earth as, what was his...
Donald Blake?
Dr. Donald Blake. He was Dr. Donald Blake for most of Ragnarok, because they moved Asgard to the middle of Kansas, and then Ragnarok started.
Because might as well, there's plenty of room in Kansas.
Well, because Asgard was destroyed, and then they brought all the Asgardians down to Kansas, and he didn't have his hammer for a while, but somehow got the powers back. And
I remember actually Kansas Asgard played an important role in the Secret Invasion as one of the little side stories or whatever.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So for the Avengers movies, do you think he will somehow get the hammer back, or do you think as far as the movie's concerned, that's...
I mean, it's tough to tell, but he's Thor, and throwing the hammer around is kind of his thing.
Yeah.
It felt kind of a miss for Thor to not have his hammer the whole time. I was waiting for the whole time for Odin to show up and be like, I actually made you another hammer. And then, we get Stormbringer, which is this dope-ass hammer with an axe on one side that's all golden and stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Beta Ray Bill. But that never happened, and he got the spear, and now he's missing an eye, and I'm just kind of meh.
The eye thing, I felt like that was kind of just what was the point of that? It was it was in Avengers when they're oh, we're gonna kill someone, so they kill Quicksilver, who we barely got to know. It's we gotta do something to Thor, so let's just cut out his eye,
Yeah, and it was such a weird kind of thing.
Yeah, she kind of barely nicked him.
Yeah.
And you could see the eye through the makeup, and most of the time it was just closed.
Yeah.
Darkened. And you're okay.
That's
fine. And in Norse mythology, I know because I'm that kind of nerdy. Odin gave up his eye so that way he could be all-seeing and all-knowing. But there was a reason why Odin didn't have an eye.
Right.
Thor just got a little boo-boo.
Right.
And you're well, that doesn't do anything for anybody. That doesn't help the story. He just scratch the retina. He's got to go see an optometrist now.
10-1 says that Stark gives him a fake eye. like a cybernetic eye.
Yeah, I mean,
he's giving Rhodey fake legs.
right.
So
I mean, how many problems can be solved by your stupid technology?
all of them.
I guess.
The answer is all of them.
Yeah.
Man. So what would you guys say would be the bigger highlights of this movie? Would you say, what do you guys think of the overall action sequences? Because I thought they were pretty well done.
Yeah, I thought the action sequences were pretty dope. I really liked the ending scene, the way they shot some of that stuff, especially with Thor getting all the lightning around him and him fighting off with that.
Right.
That fighting all the people on the bridge. That was pretty cool.
I like that scene. I also like the opening fight scene where he goes against Surtur and all his men.
That was dope.
But then again,
You mean Mr. Krabs?
Mr. Krabs, exactly.
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, Surtur's voiced by by Clancy Brown, who is the voice of Mr. Krabs. But I mean, I like both. But then again, though, both those scenes had "Immigrant Song" by Led Zeppelin playing in the background. So, and I'm a sucker for Led Zeppelin, so those automatically win in my book.
Yeah, I think they just overused that song a bunch of times. It felt like every time there was a big fight sequence, like and so it became like Pavlovian at a certain point, where like even if you couldn't follow the acts of a movie, which I feel like it's pretty easy to follow a 3-act structure. There's only 3 of them. That like whenever you heard like you were like, okay, like here we go, like it's about to go down, like we're about to get like another big like important fight scene.
I get your point, but I repeat my previous statement: Led Zeppelin sucker. So
yeah, but like we could have worked in like another.
Hey, do you know how much money it costs to get Led Zeppelin rights?
No, I know, but like could we like not work in like When the Levees Break, because the drums in that is amazing. Or,
that is
like,
very
the
true.
Lemon Song, because that is also an amazing guitar riff.
That is very true, actually.
I'm not looking for Stairway to Heaven, because I think that's just a little too on the nose for Asgard and like the transition to it, but. You know one thing that did piss me off about this movie, though?
What?
And I was just kind of thinking about it, like... Did you notice how far they fell into this, like, into the world of Sakaar? But then how easy it was to get back? They're like, oh, we just gotta go through that blue beam in the sky. Red.
Shit, it was another beam in the sky.
It was just red this time. It was a red anus. Actually,
the devil's anus.
It was but it was so easy to get back. It just felt kind of anticlimactic. You were just kind of like, it could have been a little bit tougher, like maybe more than just a one-step process. Like the whole process of getting out of there was like, we got to go get a ship, and it was like, that's it. Like you got to steal a car. Like that was your only, like you don't have to defeat anybody on your way out. Like you don't have to. Steal
they did have to take out a few guardsmen, but that was
the nameless guardsman.
Yeah, the name. Actually, did that second in command for what Jeff Goldblum's character have a name at all?
I don't think I didn't ever heard him refer to her as with a name.
No, I don't think she had a name either.
I don't know, but she reminded me of what was the headmaster from Matilda?
Was she the same actress?
No, for sure not. Yeah, because that movie came out like 25 years ago.
True, yeah.
All right, maybe not that long. At least 20. Oh god, what was her name? The one from Matilda.
I'm blanking on.
Yeah, well, you know who we mean.
The Crunch or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. The one who made that kid eat the whole chocolate cake.
We got Matilda, Mr. Wormwood, Mrs. Honey, Trunchbull.
Trunchbull.
It was interesting because I was watching some interviews with Chris Hemsworth and the director, and they're talking about this being the first of the Marvel movies for Chris Hemsworth where they got to do a lot of improv and stuff. Which I thought, I think you could definitely see that in some of the stuff. It looked like they were just having a lot of fun with it.
Cool. You got to keep in mind, too, these guys have been playing these characters now for almost a decade for some of them. Like,
right. You have to be a little bored.
Not only do you have to be, I was going to say not only are you a little bored, there's one way of looking at it. I was going to say at this point, like, the character is pretty much yours at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think it's safe to say, like, Robert Downey Jr. could walk on the set and just be like, okay, this is how Iron Man would say this.
What's the interesting thing is I was just watching in that same interview, they were like, so they shot a lot of this in Australia. And they're like, did they shoot this in Australia because you're kind of at a point where you can be like, hey, I live here, let's shoot here? And he was like, yeah, I heard Robert Downey Jr. got the last one shot where he wanted to, so I thought I'd, try it, and it worked out.
So, that's awesome. Good for him. I know they did some stuff in Atlanta because that's where they hub out of, but I know that they did a big part of it in Australia. I mean, yeah, if you got that kind of clout and power, I mean,
right?
I mean, might as well. You're one of the big three of the Avengers. It's what are the main three?
Cap, Iron Man, and
Thor. Yeah,
Thor,
exactly.
Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. Yeah, between those. Yeah, because we all know Hulk movies don't do well.
No, they don't.
Even if you have Edward Norton.
Yeah.
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 That movie was terrible. I
Yeah, it was-
watched that. It was on HBO not that long ago. The movie sucks.
Really?
I watched it so long.
Sucks.
I mean, let's be real here.
And I'm pretty forgiving on bad movies. Like
Yeah.
I give a lot of bad movies like a lot of passes.
Well,
but
I mean,
that one was
you got to admit, Hulk's biggest catchphrase is just a grammatic error. Like, Hulk smash. It's like, no, I smash, sir.
Right.
That is the correct way to say it. But I did like the Hulk's character in this movie, though, speaking of which. It was nice to actually see him get some kind of range other than big green guy who breaks things. Like,
Yeah.
which he did a lot of because
Oh, he did.
There's a status quo you have to uphold.
exactly. But
I did enjoy when Thor was trying to calm him down and get him to become Banner like
like Black Widow did.
Black Widow did in the Avengers, and
Sun's getting real low.
that was pretty entertaining. I like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's like as soon as he stuck his hand out, I was like, no, Thor, don't do that.
Yeah, you
Don't-
know he's
don't
gonna,
do that, Thor.
You know he's gonna smash it.
You were not. You were not Natasha Romanoff. No, no. But I mean, like, I did like the whole. Even though like it pretty much happened in the trailer, I did think the whole scene where they're talking in Hulk's room was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that I thought what was cool about that was like, okay, so if Banner is like Hulk for 2 years, right, and he's pretty much just Hulk, like what kind of living space is Hulk gonna live in? And you see like that weird bed with the like key
skull,
thing, the
yeah.
skull, like, okay, this is the kind of
Yeah.
Hulk's got his own hot tub.
That's kind of what I envisioned. Actually.
Hulk in a hot tub. Okay.
Hulk in a hot tub. All right, and I'm seeing it, and I will never unsee the Hulk naked again.
God, that's got to be
Yeah.
disturbing to say the least.
It's just, you know what it probably is like? It's probably like Mr. Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Only green.
Yeah.
And veinier.
The big blue floppy dick just every time he was on
Just
screen.
hanging everywhere, just
Yeah.
like just a pendulum, like
Right, and someone had to animate that. That's the worst part. Someone had to spend like hours upon hours and weeks upon weeks on the rendering of Mr. Manhattan's dong. Like, that was his job. I would want that to fuck it. I would want that to be my credit in the like dong animation.
No, what was that one credit that you saw in the movie that I was like, what the hell is that? Like Beer Bot number 5 or something like that?
Yeah, Beer Bot 5000.
Beer Bot
You're
5000.
5,000, yeah.
Which I mean, that's gonna be like the title of my first LP. I think.
Beer Bot 5000.
I think it has to be now.
Right?
Might be my new rap name. Beer Bot 5000.
Oh, shit.
Just with a beer hose on stage. Sounds like a lot of fun.
So
Should have write some songs.
there's one thing.
Learn an instrument.
I mean, we could probably go into it a little bit, but I mean, there is one thing that I was a little disappointed about was I actually kind of thought that this would be the one because we haven't had one yet at all throughout not this phase, but throughout this, I guess you want to call it chapter of Phase 3. Like of all these summer movies, Spider-Man. What was the other one that came out? Spider-Man, Thor, and
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yeah, there's nothing that really alluded to the big picture that's coming up.
Isn't that kind of nice though? I mean,
Kinda, but at the same time, we're right there. You know what I mean?
I mean, the end credit scene. I mean, I haven't looked it up online to see what like the theories are, but like you said, that was Thanos.
That's
Thanos.
Thanos.
It looked like Chitauri to me.
Well, he's going to control the Chitauri army again.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It worked out real well when he did that 10 years ago. So
Yeah, right.
We'll see how that
Especially
goes,
when he let Loki do it.
yeah. Right.
Right.
Also, kind of sick of that dude.
Who, Loki?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am kind of like. I mean, I've said it before on this podcast that the one thing I don't like about the Marvel movies is that they always kill off the main villain. I think Loki's kind of outworn his welcome at this point.
Right, because
Almost.
like he dies, he comes back. He dies, he
Yeah.
comes back. He betrays everyone. He redeems himself. He betrays everyone again. He redeems himself again. He's just become like such a one-trick pony that you're just like, all right, dude, cool, we get it. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Trickster God.
Yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
along.
Did you guys know that the actor who plays him actually got all the way up to the screen test to audition for Thor? So
Hiddleston did?
Yeah, he screen tested to play Thor before
Weird.
getting Loki. How weird would that have been if they had gone
Yeah.
with him?
To be quite honest with you, at this point, I'm actually shocked that Tom Hiddleston is not playing Tommy Wiseau in The Disaster Artist. Because he looks just like him. I
Especially
swear to
with the
God.
hair.
Every time he comes on the screen,
I'm pumped for that movie.
every time he comes on the screen, I just expect him to go, "Oh, hi, Thor."
Oh, hi, Mom. I did not. Oh, hi, Mom.
I did not kill Odin.
You were tearing me apart, Valkyrie.
That would work in this movie. That would work in this movie. Yeah, it just like it feels like it's such fan service because I know that like the there's a huge like female crush or more female or just there's just a huge crush on Tom Hiddleston like as Loki, and like there has always been ever since like the first Avengers, the first Thor movie, and it feels like he's just always back in the movies because they're trying to find a way to write him out, and then they're like, we would make like another $10 million if we just gave him like half an hour of screen time.
And that's
like,
of course just
fucking call Tom's agent, just see if he's available, fly him out to Australia. It's like
nah.
he didn't need to be there. Like, he wasn't super helpful. I mean, he was at the end because they kind of like wrote him out to like go do something important. But like, you could have had another character go and collect that bauble and come back.
Yeah, like they could have, like they almost did with the Executioner.
Well,
right.
And that's the thing, though. I think the reason they had him do it is and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that he's gonna have. That was that the Bifrost
Tesseract.
or the Tesseract? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that he has in the next Avengers movie has something to do with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I wouldn't.
So you're not gonna get rid of him.
No, I know we're not gonna get rid of him.
Come back.
He's gonna come back again. He's gonna come back
We're
again.
probably not gonna see the end of him until after like Infinity War Part 2, wherever they're gonna call it.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah.
Where he's going to betray people and then redeem himself, and then betray people and then redeem himself,
Exactly.
and then die and then come back and then betray people and then redeem himself. He's just like, oh my god, you do the same thing every time.
That's kind of why they were making fun of him for like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Loki. Like there's such a thing as character growth. I'm just kind of like, wow, that's not breaking the fourth wall.
No, yeah, it definitely was. It was literally just the writers talking to the audience. They were like, we know what we're doing. We know this isn't the way you want it to go. Like,
Yeah.
we're sorry. It's like, oh my god, just get on with it.
Yeah. I think we were talking about it before. Like, I definitely think that the Executioner was a little weak.
Yeah, he just didn't do.
He didn't do any. He literally did nothing but be like, "Look at me! I got these 2 guns I got from Texas." Like
That was his best. That was his best little joke, if you will.
yeah, that was like the only joke he had. Like I don't know. I think part of it for me is just because Dan, you can back me up on this one. I'm used to just seeing the Executioner with the Enchantress.
Right.
I thought they were like a package deal.
I
I kind of always thought they were.
Yeah, they pretty much are. I mean, I can't speak like historically all the way back to Foundations, but like yeah, definitely in modern. Like I know, like in the Loki series, like he was always hanging around.
Right.
But still, like it just like the character of the Executioner for this one was like really timid and like very unsure and just like didn't work as like a second in charge for me as like
you
villain.
could tell he was just doing what he was doing in order just to live, which I mean I can't necessarily say I blame him for doing the whole survival thing, but it's just kind of like that's not how I always pictured the Executioner. I always pictured him just being like very cold and not caring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like the thing was, right, did either of you guys, when he, at the end he jumps out and they make a whole spectacle of him doing that, like, did anyone care that he did?
No.
No, like it was just kind of
No, I feel like even the people of Asgard, they were looking down and they're like, yeah, well, about time. Like you were like cowering in like the back, like an old lady with a couple of M16 strapped to your back. Like, yeah, like we kind of expected you to do this. Like,
right, yeah.
And it's funny because like, you know what I was thinking, like, as far as like Asgard and like, goes, like this is like the place where like Valhalla is, like isn't everyone that's supposed to be there like a warrior?
Yeah,
that,
right.
Like, their whole like culture. So it's weird to see like scared, women, children, and men like running through the forest, be like, oh no, there's an army. I'm like, aren't you guys all supposed to be like Viking badasses?
Right, like
isn't that like kind of the deal? Isn't that like how you get here? Like you die in battle and then you come
Well, I
back.
thought Valhalla was a different spot than Asgard altogether. Like Valhalla, like
It's a hall
Asgard.
in Asgard.
Oh, I thought it was just straight up heaven. Like,
No, it's a hall in Asgard. Yeah.
well,
Oh, also, okay, I was kind of annoyed that they, like if this is one problem I have with, like, when they kill people off. It's like, all right, if you're going to kill someone, like, let's kill someone of importance. But, like, I liked Thor's, little crew.
The Heroes 3.
Yeah, and they just killed him, like, so quickly. Like, oh, you're dead, you're dead,
yeah,
you're dead.
like what the hell?
Like, come on, give him a...
Like they
they're
didn't.
gonna send him
Who was
off.
Sif, by the way?
You know what? I was just looking,
Yeah.
and she's in the credits, but I never saw her.
I was more upset that they didn't show Sif. That Jane Foster was just is now completely and utterly written out of the MCU.
Yeah.
Like,
Hogan and Volstagg, and I forget the.
was she killed off too?
Who?
Sif.
They didn't show
They
it.
didn't show her.
No.
She might be in like a deleted scene. Like, did she?
No,
just, like,
because well, then again, she makes like her annual cameo on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
Really?
yeah, like once a year she makes a cameo on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
I bet too if they are, because I was just looking up if Natalie Portman is signed to any other MCU movies, and in a recent interview she said not that she's aware of. So
yeah, no,
you know, it looks like maybe they're parting ways with bringing her, with, you know, getting rid of that character. So I could see them wanting to keep Lady Sif around.
Yeah,
you know, cause,
I'm okay with it, to be quite honest.
Or
with
Valkyrie,
you,
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, I'm just saying because like Natalie Portman, great actress and everything like that, but I wasn't too crazy about the Jane Foster role as a whole, and particularly in the second movie.
No one's ever been excited about Jane Foster. Like even in the Thor comic, until she became Thor, and she's actually a really cool Thor.
She is,
but like. Reading Thor comics, she was always like the worst part because it was always like, well, Thor, like you can't do that. You have to go save these people first. And Thor was like, fuck, I just want to go smash it. You know, it's just like it just felt like it was like you had like a really cool buddy who had like a really uncool girlfriend. It was like Jane Foster was just always kind of like, dude, like come on, we're gonna go gas beer and watch football, and they're like, yeah, and it was like, but I gotta like,
but my mom's coming over.
Yeah, but like, I told her I was gonna like hang curtains, and you're like, dude. Like, come on, like just come out to play, please. And it was like, don't eat too much red meat. You're like, God damn it, Jane Foster.
But red meat's the best meat.
Yeah, I mean, like they could write her better, and they have recently, but like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm missing Jane Foster in the Thor movies. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do without that person who just kind of is always like lurking in the background, telling Thor what he should do?
I mean, I will kind of sort of miss what's his name? The German scientist guy.
Oh yeah, that dude was nuts.
He was funny, especially in the second Thor movie.
He was really funny in this.
But was it the second Thor movie? No, was it the second Thor movie? Or was it the second Avengers movie where he's like gone completely insane?
I think there wasn't it.
I think it was the second Avengers
movie.
movie.
Maybe it was the second Avengers movie.
I know. I gotta go back and rewatch.
He's like running around in his underpants.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
First Avengers movie.
First Avengers movie. He was running around in his underpants. No.
Wasn't it?
No, because it was definitely it was either the second Thor movie or the second Avengers movie because he was feeling the after effects of Loki's scepters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so that's kind of what I mean. Like, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm digging the Revengers crew, so.
Yeah, with Valkyrie, which isn't really a name.
No, it's not a name, it's a title.
It's a title, it's a position.
But I mean, that was her name in the comics.
I thought she was going to be Angela. That's who I thought she was going to be.
Angela?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like Angela's too new to the Marvel cinematic, to the Marvel roster. I don't know.
Yeah, to the Marvel cinematic.
Because wasn't she brought over from like, what was the deal with Angela? She was brought over from like IDW or something like that, right?
Angela? No.
Yeah.
Angela's she's an Asgardian.
Right. We're talking about the redhead that's like also Thor's sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was originally in like she was in like Spawn's universe, I think originally.
Was she?
Yeah, she was. It's just like when the creator of Angela left. He was like, no, I'm taking this character with me and I'm bringing her over to Marvel.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but, like, the reason why I thought so is because she was a big part of, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy universe for
like
a while.
year or two,
so,
yeah.
and, like, that made sense to me, like, that, like, to kind of bridge those two universes and make that kind of a connection. Like, especially with Infinity War coming up, which you want to talk about, like, an overstuffed cast.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how they're gonna make that.
That movie's supposed to be slated to be made for over $1 billion.
Jesus.
It's gonna be like 6 hours long. Like, I expect it to be like a miniseries at that point.
Well, and you know what the interesting thing is, right? They're talking like, oh, we're finally gonna. One of the main Avengers is gonna get killed off in
Cap
and stuff. But then I don't know if you guys saw this, but Robert Downey Jr. posted this picture when they just started filming the next Avengers. So you already know that he's alive, right? Steve Rogers alive. At least Scott Lang and
can I see this?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I thought either Iron Man or Captain America is gonna die in this next one. Maybe it's the one after that, but so I don't even know.
I think from what I've been hearing, I think Infinity War is just gonna be Thanos just wagging his dick around. Like that's pretty much all I hear this movie is gonna be is just him like just showing off just how much of a fucking badass he's like. He's gonna throw a planet, from what I hear. A planet. And you're gonna keep in mind at one point in the MCU, the bad guy was a fucking planet, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Ego. He's got a prune chin, though.
He's got a what?
Prune chin.
A prune chin. He does have a prune chin.
Looks like a prune.
I always thought raisins, but same idea, basically.
Yeah, dried fruit.
Dried fruit, exactly.
Dried apricots, whatever.
Dried apricots.
Yeah, he's an ugly dude.
Yeah. That's probably why he's so mad.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. What do you think the over-under is, though? Do you think Hell is dead, or like...
No, I mean, how do you kill the goddess of death?
It's a valid point.
That is a very valid point.
How do you kill the goddess of death? You can't
let's be honest, we've seen Loki die what we thought like 20 different times.
Right, exactly. So
Captain America died in 1945.
right, wink, wink.
Right, yeah. Bucky died in 1944.
Right.
43.
Right.
Yeah.
Then there was also
But Quicksilver's never coming back.
No. That's okay. We don't care.
I mean, we thought Agent Coulson was dead, so
That's another.
which, by the way, that's one thing that I hope happens in Infinity Wars is they actually meet up with Coulson again.
I loved his character in the Avengers.
Yeah,
I haven't followed
he
Agents
does a
of
pretty
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
he does a pretty good job carrying the show. Spoiler alert: they're in space now, so I'm thinking this is gonna be the last season. I'm really hoping that this is the last season for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That show is a disaster. That show is a disaster.
I like the last season. The last season was awesome with Ghost Rider.
They ruined Ghost Rider.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. It's
No,
Ghost Rider, not Ghost Driver.
That was the comic books. The comic books did it first.
If you're in a car,
They did it first with
I'm blaming that on them too. Like, you can't be Ghost Rider if you're in a car.
Who was the
Like Ghost Uber driver?
who played Ghost? Was it Nick Cage? Did
Nicolas
he play
Cage.
Ghost Rider in the movie.
You know what the worst part of those movies are? Is that like Idris Elba's in the second one. I don't know if you knew this,
I
right?
didn't.
Hemdahl from
Yeah,
his
Hemdahl,
movie.
yeah.
The worst part about like the Ghost Rider movies is by and far Nick Cage. like which comes at no surprise, but also at the same time, like if you just like watch the scenes where Nick Cage actually isn't on screen, but they just have like the fiery skull thing. They're really cool action sequences. They work really well, which like begs the question if you got anyone else in the world, literally anyone else in the world, to play like Ghost Rider, it would have been an 8 passable movie. You would like put it on the same like pedestal as like Blade. Like, cause I love the Blade movies. I don't care. I love the first 2, but like they were like you got a passing mark on those. You know what I mean? It was like, please see me after class, but like you did okay. With like Ghost Rider, it was like, sorry kid, you're not going to college. Here's a shovel. There's a ditch.
Go get to work.
Yeah.
This is going to be your work for the next 50, 60 years.
It wasn't, like I rewatched like Ghost Rider the other day, and I was like, man, this sucks, but it sucks because of Nicolas Cage.
He's the Nickelback of actors, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but
I've said it before.
Dude, here's the sad thing is, if you look back, man, he had some dope movies.
He did have some.
He has an Academy Award. He has an Oscar.
He was the youngest man to ever win an Oscar too, I believe.
He was also nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
He's done so
Is he
many
really? He's
garbage
really? I know that.
movies now.
Yep.
Like so many. Like there was a span where I remember watching like the previews. Like, wait, is this the same movie? He did like some witch hunter movie, and then another one that looked just like it.
No, Black Death. The Black Death actually wasn't.
No. Okay. I'm not talking about that one.
That one was all right.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
There's like Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then there was some other one. It all just
disasters.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
The Wicker Man.
Yeah, the Wicker Man. The bees! Not the bees! Man, what was it? I actually just saw something recently, too, where somebody gets attacked by bees. And the only thing I could just think of was just Nicolas Cage go, not the bees! The bees! Not the bees! Oh, God! Here's one thing that I wanted to talk about, actually, because I've been wondering when this actor was going to show up in a Marvel movie as, like, one of the main actors, and Matt Damon just had a cameo.
Hated that.
So random.
I hated that. But I love that Sam Neill played Odin. Because Sam Neill is the man.
Yeah.
I think it would have been hysterical if Matt Damon had played Loki and then, like, Jimmy Kimmel had been Thor, and you could have kept that whole little bullshit going on. That would have been funny.
Who played Thor?
I don't know. That's why I was like, wait, is that someone we should...
Is that someone
I feel like
know?
it's somebody that we should know.
Yeah, but I love that Sam Neill played Odin.
My dear Dr. Grant.
My dear Dr. Grant. This makes no sense.
Hold on, let me look this up. But yeah, like, the whole time he's just lying on the ground, like, overacting as Loki. I'm just like, Matt Damon.
I hated that. I just could not wait for that scene to be over. I could already tell. I was like, if this movie ever comes out on HBO, or if I ever get it on Blu-ray, like, I'm going to fast forward through this moment. Like, every time, I'm just not even going to watch it. I'll be like, this is terrible. This is stupid. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, right. I mean, Luke Hemsworth.
Oh, that was a Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Hemsworth played him. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, let's be real here. I think Matt Damon's best cameo goes to Euro Trip.
Yeah.
Scotty
doesn't know. Yeah. Sam Neill. Oh, Charlotte Nikado played Actor Sif. I don't know who that is, but okay.
You said that like we should know who that is.
I know, right?
I did not remember seeing her in that movie.
Yeah, no, she was in it for like 3 seconds. College girl number. Yeah, okay, they want to get.
College girl number 1. Oh yes, of course. I remember.
Oh yeah.
Opposite beer bought 5,000.
Wait, who played
I
beer?
will say when
Beer bought 5,000. Okay, no
when
name.
Thor's beer kept getting refilled in that big mug, I was just like, man, I could go for beer now. It's just,
You know what?
already I was thinking that.
And that gigantic Stein, like.
Yeah.
Was it the
exactly.
same Stein? Actually, was that the same Stein that they used in the end of Doctor Strange?
Probably. It looked like it was the same scene.
It was probably the exact same scene.
Like, just from the way that it was like cut, colored, framed, like
Yeah,
the way
more or less.
that the way that the arts bar was backed out. Like, not that you couldn't like replicate that, and not that they don't, but like looked like that was all part of the same production. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Doctor Strange like didn't have an end scene filmed, and they were just like, here. Thor was like, here, you can use
Yeah,
it.
post credit scene. Yeah. I'm curious to see where post credit scenes go from this point on, because I think Black Panther is gonna like end, and then it's just gonna be like, oh shit, here's Thanos. Like,
Yeah.
have fun.
I'm already starting to feel like the Black Panther trailers are showing me too much. Just like Thor Ragnarok did.
Yeah,
just like
I agree.
Spider-Man
and we've
did.
got basically like what, 6 months before this movie comes out.
Yeah, we still got March, right?
Yeah.
It comes out in March.
Yeah, we got some time.
So I feel like I feel like I've seen so much of this movie already and haven't actually seen the movie, and I kind of hate that. That's what ruined Spider-Man for me. Like when Spider-Man came out in theaters, they were like, "Want to go see Spider-Man?" I was like, "No, I've seen it. I'm not paying to go see it."
That was my biggest thing with Thor. This Thor 3 was that I was like, well, I know like some of the funniest and best parts I saw in the trailer. When I saw in the trailer, I was like, oh, that's hysterical, that's great. And then you know those parts are coming up because you know they give away everything, you know, except for that final twist at the end where it's like, oh, you know, with,
Well, we're gonna cause Ragnarok.
right.
And
That was the only thing I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but-
Beyond that, though, you know.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we'd like to talk about, guys? Because we should probably mention a couple of the trailers, even though that we already saw some of them.
Are we rating the movie?
We'll rate the movie after we talk about the trailers, I'd say.
Okay.
I don't remember all the trailers because it was most of the ones I'd already seen, like the Star Wars one. I'd seen it.
That cinema showed too many trailers. That cinema like delayed the start of the movie by half an hour.
Can we talk about arguably the best trailer? That new what's his name?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Oh,
There were two Gerard Butler trailers. There were two.
There were two.
No, what was the one with like the one where like I thought there was the one where like he's the cop like
that's what we were talking about.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. I thought we were talking. What was the other one you were talking about? The one with the weather. Was that
No,
not?
that's Geostorm. That's out now.
That's out now. Never mind then.
That's
Never mind.
out. That's like been released. It's already on Redbox. Like
Yeah.
If anyone saw Geostorm, please tell me how it is. Like
Yeah.
Gerard Butler is starting to take, not that he ever was at the level that Nick Cage maybe was.
He's
but
doing the same thing. He's doing the
right?
same thing. I feel like his agent is just calling him and just being like, "So Gerard, in this movie you play a sandwich that I'm in. Let's do it." No, you didn't let me finish. You play a sandwich that's also a Nazi. He's like, "Did I stutter? I'm already in."
Dude, it's so true.
Not only are you a sandwich, you're a rotten sandwich.
Right.
Like,
Coming this summer, Gerard Butler is Wiener Schnitzel.
a Nazi sandwich.
He was like 300 was fucking great. You know, it was a badass movie.
I kicked someone in the chest at laser tag after seeing that movie.
That's like,
I got kicked out of laser tag.
Was it United States of America back in East Providence?
No, it was the one in Fall Reeve. Laser
Fall
Gate.
Reeve.
There's only one place to go past the Nick Cage, and that is Eric Roberts.
Oh.
Eric
I don't know
Roberts.
if you guys look at his IMDb. That guy. He will do any movie. It doesn't matter. He's also FICE Corps, so he can do non-union films. I mean, that guy, he'll do any and every movie. Look how many credits he has. It's ridiculous.
This guy. I know this.
I thought
guy.
you were gonna say Adam Sandler.
Oh man, I feel bad, dude. His movies are just horrible now.
Yeah, Eric
They used
Roberts,
to be
who
so
was in
funny.
The Dark Knight.
He was,
Yeah, and The Expendables. And after that, it just gets.
How many credits does he have? Because
I
mean,
it's uncountable.
like my buddy did a movie with him that was about like this family who like kill babysitters or something, right? And it's just like, why is Eric Roberts doing this movie? He's got a lot of legitimate, credits.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day,
he just needs money. He's just got like a really bad coke habit. I don't know.
I mean,
here's the
it is Hollywood.
My buddy said that Eric Roberts in that movie, at least, he didn't memorize any of his lines. They had someone with big cards, these cue cards, standing behind him on the over the shoulder shot, so Eric Roberts can. So anytime I watch something with Eric Roberts, I look and you'll notice this. A lot of times he kind of like look off for no reason, and I'm like, I think he's just picking up a line. I think that's what he's doing.
He was in the Human Centipede 3.
Oh God!
He was in the third one.
Oh,
he was in Doctor Who before it got good again in 1996. Just a lot of these are just they don't even have pictures on.
Right?
Like,
that's what
Wolves of Wall Street, not the Wolf of Wall Street. Wolves of Wall Street.
The guy will do any movie, man.
And that's Gerard Butler's Den of Thieves. That's what this is becoming, which honestly didn't look terrible. It was like one of those things where I was like, I'm gonna watch this on FX one afternoon. Like, I know I'm already gonna like watch that. Like, instead of like getting any work done, I'd be like, oh, but this movie, someone's driving a Mustang really fast through the streets of downtown Los Angeles.
Which never happens, by the way.
Yeah, you can't drive anywhere.
I love how in that they like flipped it. They didn't like the whole time. You're like, okay, clearly like Gerard Butler's a cop, but he's gonna be the bad guy. And it was so bad that they had to actually say it at the end.
Where he's like, no, you guys are the good guys.
Yeah,
we're the bad guys.
Exactly. You're like, oh,
my name is Gerard Butler.
You're
not even trying anymore. Like,
I'm part of a gang, but I have a badge.
Oh, man.
I don't think you can be a cop for long if you just tell suspects that you just rather shoot them in the head than bring them to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like we don't live in that society anymore. Like,
no, this isn't the Wild Wild West.
And there was, there's like, gosh, why my mind's blanking out. What's that awesome movie?
White House Down.
I'm not a Gerard Butler.
No, White House Down was the one with Channing Tatum in it. You're thinking of Washington Has Fallen. Or something.
Oh yeah, Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen.
And the sequel, London. Yeah, I saw that too. On FX. On FX. It's the only time you see those. I think Gerard Butler has an exclusive contract.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I could see Geostorm is going to be on FX,
I a long time ago, I worked on a commercial for Gerard Butler where he was selling cologne for Hugo Boss, and like we edited it for about a year, and like he had like some line about like his manly hands. That haunts my dreams. Yeah, and he had like the thick Scottish hand. It's like, oh, it's in his deets. Because he was supposed to say, like, in his deeds, like, what he does is, like, in his deeds, but it was in his deets. It was in his deets. What does a man do? It's in his deets. And I was like, where are your deets?
What is that? Do I still need it, or is it need to surgically remove?
Is it, is it under the lats? Is that where your deets are? It's in his deets.
So I look at this new, do we even know, what's the name of that Gerard Butler movie that we saw?
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves is like Gerard Butler saw Training Day and was like, I want to do Training Day. And this is his poor attempt at doing something in that realm.
Gerard Butler, go back to making good movies, please. After 300, you had the world ahead of you. Just stop. What was the one that he did with Jamie Foxx that was actually really good? He did the one where he was like, let's see, he was like this. I forget like what the overall plot was. Like his family was murdered because that's how all those movies start. And he was pretty much like the Punisher, but just not like an officially sanctioned Punisher movie.
Rock and Rolla.
No, but Rock and Rolla was amazing.
Law-abiding citizen.
That
was a great movie.
He is going to be in How to Train Your Dragon 3. Which I don't know how they're going to do that because he died in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Flashbacks.
Wait a second. Is that... Tell me that's not the same Olympus Has Fallen thing. Angel has fallen. Is that that's not going to be a trilogy, right?
Oh. It's got Morgan Freeman in it. Wait a minute. Hold on. See, full cast. If it's got... who played Two-Face in it again? Aaron Eckhart.
Well, he can't still be the president.
Yeah, you don't know that.
That was the whole plot.
Well, the first one was called, what was it?
Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen. London Has Fallen. Now, this one is called Angel Has Fallen. There's no
Los
way.
Angeles. It's going to be Los Angeles. Or maybe it's just Anaheim.
Oh god.
They're like terrorists that take Anaheim. They're like, fine, you can have it. Like we don't want it back. Like we'll just annex Disney, but other than that, like whatever. Like what am I gonna go to Knott's Berry's Farm? Like I'm good. You ever been to Knott's Berry's Farm? The rides are
have
crazy.
not been.
It's actually kind of fun.
Is
If
it?
you like roller coasters, yeah, it's pretty good. It's not as good as Six Flags, but it's pretty
Okay.
good. Yeah.
I did not know if that is that they're doing a trilogy of that. That's just wow.
We have to have a screening party. That's,
We do a whole
Absolutely.
screen.
I think we just see if we can rent a theater. We'll just get all of. I know my friends will all want to go. They'll be like, I'm sorry, you're doing a what trilogy? Yes.
Yes, and
Please.
yes.
Like, did those movies make like? I didn't even know they made enough money that they would put a trilogy.
It's FX. Gerard Butler just has an exclusive FX is like, listen, we just need to put something on between 2 and 4 every afternoon. What do you got? And Gerard Butler's like, well, I did a movie where I've robbed banks, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am excited. Out of the trailers that we did see, though, Pacific Rim, I am stoked for because giant robots versus giant monsters
Versus giant robots.
is always a sign me up.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
I mean, like, I think you said it best. Like, that's what the Power Rangers movie should have been.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie was so terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I said it best during our review of it. It's like, by the time the third act rolls around, I just looked at you, Dan, and I was like, where the hell are the mechs? Like, I didn't sign on for this for a teen... I mean, I expected the teen drama, and I'm not trying to say that the teen drama was bad. It's just...
It was bad though. That was the thing. It was that I was
cheesy.
I was like I wanted the Power Rangers, not the Breakfast Club.
Right?
That was like
Like, I was just
I can't put cigarettes out of my arm. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I know. You're just expecting Billy to walk off the football field. Don't you?
Oh yeah, that's really how I thought.
Forget about me.
Yeah.
Like,
but that the Power Rangers movie had the best ending for any town that ever got demolished by a giant monster.
right? They all got gold.
Because the entire town was covered in gold. So it was like, thanks for destroying the town. We're all millionaires.
Well, I mean, like, you know that money, the money from that gold is probably going to go to repair the city, but
Yeah, but like they could rebuild the city in gold.
true.
Like
that
they
is
could,
very
they could
true.
have a golden Krispy Kreme. Like, I think everybody does okay after that.
Like so random Krispy Kreme plug-in throughout that movie,
That was
you know?
so bad.
The best was when they just take a pause from all the action just to show Elizabeth Banks take a big old bite out of one of the donuts. It's like, Dan, you probably remember this. Remember the one time Krispy Kreme tried to open up in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Remember how long that lasted?
I do.
Like, what, 6 months?
Not even.
Dunkin' Donuts forever.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Krispy Kreme donuts, though. I do like their donuts.
We come from the land of Dunkin' Donuts, so that's the thing.
I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, though. They have good coffee.
I like Dunkin' Donuts everything.
Yeah.
For being honest.
We're New Englanders.
Yeah,
We're conditioned.
yeah, exactly. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. What were the other trailers though? What about that one with that other Chris Hemsworth movie? What was that one called?
September 12th.
September 12th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of ducked out to go to the bathroom real quick for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what was like that Benghazi movie that they made a little while ago? It's like 124 hours or something like that.
Yeah. I didn't care for that one that much.
I just
didn't
kind of
see
get
it.
I kind of get fatigued with the whole like modern war thing, where like we're now starting to like romance this like war that we've been in as a country for like 12 years, and I'm like, no, do we really need to go there? Like,
Yeah.
I think we're good. Like, without getting like super political about it, it's like we can all be like, yeah, World War II movies, like fuck the Nazis, yeah, everyone, yeah, like we can all like rally behind that. But
Yeah.
you know, when like we start talking about like the war on terror, it's like.
I don't know. It's just,
It's kind of like grumbling.
I think you and I were just laughing at it. It's just like, so by September 12th, they're in Iraq. Like, no.
That was the thing that I couldn't figure out. I was like, how did you get from, I'm assuming, like, Virginia to, like, northern Afghanistan in, like, by the next day? Like, that's a long flight.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Yeah, at least everybody got on like a B-50, not a B-52, the stealth bombers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have, like, enough fuel range to get all the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those things aren't meant for like the
No,
transatlantic flights. I think they're pretty much just like take off from a nearby aircraft carrier, bomb the hell out of them, and then turn right around.
Yeah, I always hate movies that start, it's like, you know, like 12 good soldiers, and they're like, I'm not going to lose one man. It's like, you are totally going to lose like 11 out of them. Like,
Yeah.
like we all know this is gonna happen,
Exactly.
or you're all gonna die, and we're gonna like memorialize you, and I don't know, it's like this weird like glorification of war thing that's just like, I don't know, kind of weird, and like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. All right, and then, like all the other trailers, I think you and I talked about too on like the San Diego Comic-Con trailer. I feel like that we
I think we covered Black Panther, right? I'm definitely gonna go check that out. New Mutants looks awesome. That's what
I'm actually excited for New Mutants because it actually looks like they're gonna try something different with the superhero genre.
I'm stoked for a horror film.
See, I'm not too excited about it. I would like to see them take the X-Men '90s cartoon and give me a movie with that lineup.
So the next X-Men movie that's coming out.
Yeah, but
no, it's going to be the next X-Men movie.
I think the next one might. I don't know. I don't like the. Honestly, I think if they stayed with who directed X-Men First Class?
Bryan Singer.
And Bryan Singer also directed.
He did the last three.
Yeah, he did Days of Future Past, and he also did...
No. The one who did X-Men First Class was different. Then they brought back Bryan Singer.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I thought Bryan Singer did Days of Future Past.
He did Days of Future Past, but First Class was someone else. I can't remember. Because I like the tone and everything they did with First Class, and then when they brought Singer back, it was
came out in 2011, holy shit.
It was like back to the X-Men Last Stand bullshit.
I know it was bad.
But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, I did like how they ended the last X-Men movie with them all in their, like, they look like they're in the costumes from the 90s cartoon.
I thought the costumes were terrible, though. Matthew Vaughn directed.
Matthew Vaughn, yeah. I think if they stuck with Matthew Vaughn, we could have gotten a lot better stuff out of the last X-Men movies.
To be honest with you, and I think I've said it before, I think Days of Future Past is overrated as a movie. Hell, even in the comics, I think it's overrated.
Was that the last one?
He did.
No,
actually,
that was the second to last one.
Vaughn did Days of Future Past as well.
He did?
Yeah. He did.
Huh. I thought Singer did.
So they brought Singer back for
the
third one. Yeah.
And it was the worst one.
Yeah. Well, because then he tried to, like, bring his X-Men movies in it for the First Class ones, and...
Yeah. All right, guys.
I was just going to say it's a bummer because I love Apocalypse as a villain, and
yeah, they totally wasted him. You know what bothered me most about that movie? It's the fact that you have the big bad named Apocalypse, but you still have to shoe in that Magneto Professor X relationship. Yeah. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. It's become like Loki at this point.
And my favorite part too is I love Archangel, and we don't really even get we barely got a smidge of it.
He was in there for like 5 seconds. Psylocke
was like barely, yeah. And Olivia Munn looked fucking awesome as Psylocke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Storm also just kind of
was there
past, and I just the whole thing just kind of was a wasted effort, and that was one of those movies where it always surprises me how long it takes for villains to actually destroy the Earth. You know what I mean? They're like, he's destroying the Earth. It's like, all right, we've got to head to Cairo. We've got about 36 hours. Want to stop for lunch? Everyone's just kind of on this really lazy time.
But what was also really annoying about that, we got to wrap this up, but the most annoying part was he takes all the nukes and points them at the Earth, and then does nothing.
All right.
Probably. All right. So before we start rating them, just a real quick plug, guys. On November 19th, I am going to be at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. Hayden, do you have anything you want to plug? Or
Sure. We got a new short film and web series coming out soon called Snatch and Grab. You can, if you're interested, you can check us out at Built This City Productions on Instagram and Facebook.
What about YouTube? Do you guys have a YouTube page or?
We do. Again, Built the City Productions.
Alrighty, guys. So finally, before we wrap things up, let's just give this movie a big old ranking out of 10. Dan, you first.
I give this 8 Goldblums out of possible 10 Goldblums.
Could you say it like Jeff Goldblum instead, though?
I give this 8 Goldblums out of a potential 10 Goldblums.
What do you give it, Hayden?
I would give it about a 7.5. It probably would get an 8 or an 8.5 if I hadn't seen the trailers.
Probably. I think I'm going to agree with. I think I'm just going to go with. I think I'm going to agree with Hayden on this one, a 7.5. But I mean, like I said before, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that there was just so much given away in the trailers, and I would have appreciated a little bit of a darker tone overall in this movie.
Have the Goddess of Death.
Still not dark enough, surprisingly. I mean, Kate Blanchett was great. Don't get me wrong; she hammed it up.
All the Warriors 3 died.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah, but they kind of just the way they were killed off was just so. Except for the third one, was just kind of so fleh.
You know why? Because then the Revengers would have probably been way too big of a team, right?
It probably would.
We gotta start culling the herd for the MCU. People gotta go.
Okay. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank my guests, both Dan and Hayden, for being here. We'll check you guys later. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Well, that was fun. Who's for Chinese?